Yeah, if you've done that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I own a VW Transporter T6, and I said in a previous video that it could perhaps be better than the T6.1. There are a few reasons why, which I'm going to discuss. Surely the older model can't be better. What do I think now? Has this extended time with this van changed my mind? We can touch on price too, as I was again told this weekend, you can buy a big motorhome for that. I've been daily driving this T6.1, spending more time with it, getting to know it a little bit better. And I'm going to show you my thoughts, looking at each of the changes that have been made to it from the T6 and my opinion on them. The T6.1 is a facelifted version of the very extremely popular T6. It's distinguishable from the front by the bodywork, which has changed significantly. The headlights are slimmer than on the T6. LED lights are not standard in the T6.1, but certainly a worthy upgrade. If you're looking for a new van, try and find one with the factory LED headlights if you can. They are literally night and day difference. The front bar is no longer wrapped around the middle, and that's being said that sets them apart visually for a lot of people, although some say that they do tell the difference by the aerial on the top, which is clearly visible on the T6.1 on the roof at the front. However, you're not going to see the aerial if the van's got a popped up anyway, so you can't always rely on that. In fact, you can't even rely on the front bumper as well, because a lot of people have replaced the front end with a T6.1, like many have done for generations before. You'll often see T5s with a T6.1 facelift. Is that going to continue with the T7? Will people be putting the T7 front end on the T6? Anyway, the Transporter badge, the plaque here on the wing, is from factory, although again, you're going to see this on some T6 owners. Yeah, if you're new to the Transporter world, or seen as it's often referred, a lot of owners like to modify and personalise their vans. So my thoughts on the exterior compared to the T6, it is more modern and the LED headlights are absolutely superb. Definitely a big upgrade. I definitely prefer it, but looks alone aren't going to make me change. To find out more about this very van which I'm in now, a camper van with a difference, then look out for the video which I'm going to be releasing this Sunday, and do subscribe if you haven't already. It's a really nice van, and it's actually become quite a conversation for passers-by. When people have actually seen it, what the conversion is, they've been asking what it is and asking questions about it. It's been kitted out with the Leighton Vans full LVR kit and Navis 20-inch wheels, so not a standard T6.1, but the interior of this one gets even better. You're going to see it on Sunday. Anyway, onto the cab interior now, so let's have a look inside. In here, visually, we do have a few differences as well, and first of all, the comfort dash of the T6, it's something I really liked, and on the T6.1, it's just not the same. The soft line glove box, the doors on the storage area, the drinks cooler and extra storage, they're just not present on the T6.1. Aftermarket parts are available to improve this, but standard, it isn't available. Storage is less with smaller compartments, although the top dash is actually much bigger now. The all-important cup holders are still present here, and I can certainly put my favourite coffee cup there. Missing though is the sunglasses holder, and not a deal breaker, but if you have one currently, then you may need to source an aftermarket one. The fixings are behind, so it is ready to be fitted if you can get one, which you can quite easily. With that said, I do actually prefer the T6.1 dash. It is more modern, and I like the fact that the trim is just not smooth, it's textured, it's got some form of design to it. It also looks great when it's been painted with an alternative colour, and the steering wheel stitching done to match. Even more if the seats have been retrimmed in leather, with matching stitching and the sports bolstering. The actual sports bolstering on the seats makes a huge difference, and the wingbacks even, if you're into that. The steering wheel is something else as well that has been changed. An improved steering wheel, the one resembling Roll and Rat. And I do like this. It is really quite an improvement. More buttons on it, and they're quite easy to use. So visually, inside the newer model, I like some elements, but I would change others. It has grown on me, which these things tend to do, to be quite honest with you. However, many people didn't like other generations when they were first released, and they grew on them over time. But next is one of my bigger frustrations with the T6.1. It's only a problem on dual carriageways and long stretches of road, and that's the lack of footrest to rest your left foot. Many of us use this space on the T6, but on the 6.1, it just isn't there. there's no room to rest your left foot when you need to rest it, because you've got the plastic in the way and you can't do it. It's something you will get used to, but this week I've been constantly being caught out by it. Just so used to resting my foot next to the clutch pedal, and you can't do it on the 6.1. Not the end of the world, but just another frustration. I need to retrain myself into doing it. A bit like slamming on the brake when you go from a manual into an auto, and when you're going for the non-existent clutch. Yeah, if you've done that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, in my T6, I'm really lucky to have what some say is the best engine available in the Transporter, and that's the 2-litre diesel, the 140 horsepower. It's good, but it can be bad because this engine is a Euro 5 and will therefore be an issue or a cost in the clean air zones. Not a current problem for me, being in Devon, because there isn't any clean air zones around here. The closest is Bristol, but it could be a problem for some others. But I'm not others. I'm talking about me now and whether I do actually want the T6.1. Anyway, whereas most of the T6.1s, and actually most T6s for that matter, are Euro 6 with AdBlue. However, the T6.1 engine range was reworked to give an even better, more efficient engine. And I seemingly get mid to high 30s average out of these vehicles, which I've been driving. And that's a mix of, been driving some panel vans, some Kombis, and also some full campers, and still getting, you know, mid 30s, which is really pretty good. Out of my T6, I get very similar. Now, the next aspect is both good and bad. Well, not so much bad, but kind of personal preference. Not only is the steering wheel changed physically to look at, but the whole mechanics of the steering. The gone as the hydraulic steering, because the T6.1 has got an electromechanical steering and therefore feels totally different to the T6. Now, I've previously said that the new one felt really light, whereas the T6 feels really heavy and kind of planted to the road, and the latter actually being my preference. I really like the feeling of the T6 because it just gives plenty of that feedback through the road. A little bit old school, to be honest with you. But since then, and driving a lot more of the newer Transporters, including this one for a period of time, I've actually started to like the T6.1 more. The lightness has grown on me, and I've even started not to hate the adaptive cruise control as much. But with the world of autonomous driving and the more intrusive aids probably not too far away, I had just better get used to it. There are obviously those benefits of the newer model, the enhanced technology, additions of cross-wind assist, lane assist, trailer assist, traffic light recognition, and parking assist. And again, it's personal, but I do prefer the much improved infotainment screen of the 6.1. The integrated eSIM, which obviously gives you that connection to the internet. The Discovery Media is much better than the T6. Although with either model, the front speakers really could do with an upgrade. Upgrading your front speakers to something better makes a massive, massive difference. Definitely a worthy upgrade to be considering. However, with these even bigger screens which we've got on the T6.1, even this one compared to mine and the Alpine Halo 11, it just looks extremely small. A big draw to me for the 6.1 is the digital cockpit, available from VW in the Caravelle and the California. Well, it's not really available anymore, is it? Because they've stopped actually the order book. You can't order them anymore, and there's only the last few coming off the production line. But VW did offer it in the California and the Caravelle. It is offered in various places aftermarket, and you can get some new vehicles actually offer it. Pieces like Leighton Vans. Always been a big fan of Leighton Vans. That's the second mention in this video. Often browsing through the stock, looking at what I would buy if I had the money, but I've not. So it's a bit like going on the housing market pages and putting in properties over £1 million and seeing what you can't afford and what you can't buy. Kind of a dream on kind of scenario. But if you use your van on a regular basis and you drive lots of miles, then you want to be in a place of comfort, and these modern updates do help with that. The air conditioning in this model is far better than it is in my van. There's more options of fan speed and seems to cool down much quicker. VW continuing to make improvements and enhancements that you would expect. And this last few days, those improvements to the air condition have actually been hugely appreciated. It's been pretty warm. Sounds like I'm thanking VW there. But with this changing technology, the USBs have also changed, with a lot of cables now being USB-C to USB-C. Then these are absolutely perfect. Gone are the USB-As, although you will still see these in some conversions because not everybody's made the switch to USB-C. The Transporter, in my opinion, and many others for that matter, is a brilliant vehicle, and some would say perfect. It's a daily driver that can be used to go to work, shopping, park in height restricted car parks, go on holiday. It's a vehicle that can do it all. As the size of the T6 and T6.1 are the same, then that isn't really a factor in my decision. It's not going to affect it. This vehicle is a camper and it's got a pull-out awning, so it's slightly higher than the 1990 which it came when it left the factory. Yet it still can access my usual car parks. I can go through drive-throughs. I can park in small spaces in some of the local car parks. I can eat, I can sleep in it. It's a true daily driver with some magic sprinkling on the top to give the extra benefits. So when camping this weekend, I was told, you can buy a bigger motorhome for that. I had to explain, well, yes, I could, but a big motorhome won't really allow me to go to work, park comfortably. My drive is too small. I can't get through the height restricted barriers. The vehicle is too big for them. They are different vehicles and comparisons have to be made with this in mind. You wouldn't get in your motorhome and drive to pick up a pint of milk from the shop. You would, however, do that in your daily driver, and I'm more than convinced now that the T6.1 could be for me. After driving much more of the T6.1 over the last 12 months and driving this one for about a week, I am convinced that the T6.1 will be my next van. Prices are a factor as values do remain very strong. The VW Transporter does maintain its value extremely well, and many say it will maintain that even more with the new one being built by Ford. Perhaps we will be tempted to stay with VW rather than the Transporter Alliance, and if we do, then that could be with the all-new VW California built on the Multivan that's just been announced, and you can see that video here. Or from Sunday, you can check out what this van has to offer, and you'll be able to see that here from then. Take care, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks for watching.